Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Tanya Fong, and I'm one of the lead trainers here at the Australian Academy of Hypnosis. Now, for those that are new to our channel, these podcasts and these episodes are where I get to talk to some of our graduates from the Academy that have learnt hypnotherapy and also some of my private clients. And they get to share their real and raw stories about how hypnotherapy has been hugely beneficial for them. So I'm really excited to have Josh on today. Josh is going to explain a little bit about his experience with the course that he was just on with us last week. So Josh is just new into his journey into hypnotherapy, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy all the stories that he tells you, especially about what he experienced last week in the course. All right, so I'd like to introduce Josh to you, who's on the line with me today. And Josh has come here to share a little bit about his story. So welcome, Josh.
Hey, how you going?
Awesome. Now, Josh just finished the course with us last week. But before we get into how he found the course, we're going to talk a little bit about probably Josh's journey into what sparked his interest in hypnotherapy. Is that okay with you, Josh?
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. So you share, let's find out what sparked your interest in getting into hypnotherapy.
Yeah, basically how it all started was I ended up meeting a guy who was a stage hypnotist, mentalist. He'd done a whole bunch of other stuff, and he was also a hypnotherapist.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much we became friends because he was doing a bit of a demonstration, and because someone I used to know, they had learnt a little bit from him, and they invited him to a kind of like a house party or something like that along those lines. And
Okay.
and that was back when I was about 24, 25.
Yep.
So a long time ago. And yeah, we kind of hit it off, and basically I wanted to start learning because I was a bit of a skeptic back then as well. Because like my first real brush with hypnosis was when I was about 20 or 21 years old. That was kind of like not a positive experience, in the sense that the psychologist that tried to do it didn't mention, and I had very big trust issues at that time.
Yeah.
So when he tried to do it, because he tried to make it, oh, you're just going to do some meditation, and then he started to do it, and I was kind of catching on to a little bit of language, and like instantly I shut down and I like opened my eyes kind of thing, and I was like, no, you don't, kind of situation. Because when you see on the TV, it's like how they make it, oh, it's all mind control and all that. So I had that, there was that stigma to what you see on the TV, and it's like, hey, you're not going to control me and get in my head and control me and do all that sort of stuff,
Yep.
But when I met the hypnotist that I befriended, he explained everything to me like a few years forward, and it made sense, and he showed me a little bit of it, and it really intrigued me that I wanted to learn. So he started teaching me, took me under his wing a little bit, and started to teach me. But and yeah, I found it fascinating. Like at the time, I was mainly doing just the suggestibility tests. So
Yep.
one hand with a balloon, the other with a heavy bucket, etc. And I was doing those kind of things, which were impressive in themselves. And
Yep.
anyway, yeah, just a little bit over time, life got in the way and stuff, so I kind of lost contact with him, and couldn't train further with him. And yeah, I lost. I guess I just kind of gave up, and just jumped into jobs and all this other business that happens in life. And yeah, then pretty much not too long ago, probably a little bit over a year now, or maybe a year. It was basically I was having a few issues, in life, and so things were just mounting up. When it rains, it pours, and
Yep.
my dog had died, and that was kind of the little breaking point in life. Because I've always been someone who bottles up everything, like all through my years, and I've and stuff. So I've rarely ever cried or anything like that, because taught that men don't cry, etc.
Okay.
And anyways, when my dog died, like I was, I cried to that kind of thing, and then I don't know, everything in life kind of started like I was getting all the voices and stuff in my head about things throughout my whole entire life, and yeah, it just kind of opened up, like caused a few cracks in the old in the glass, I guess. That is
Yep.
the mind. And so I went and saw a hypnotherapist to just kind of seal up those cracks, because it was just very deep sadness I was feeling. And yeah, they basically did what I needed, and that reignited a motivation in me, and it brought back the positive memories of having when I was learning hypnosis back in the day, and just like all the fascination and everything again. And I was like, oh God, like I miss those days when I was learning that stuff, because it really intrigued me, and I still had some of the books from the past and everything. And then I ended up looking online, and I was just looking online, and I found you guys, and I was like, oh, that you can actually get certificates and everything, because I think back then they didn't have like certificates and qualifications, but like back then when I used to look, it didn't seem to be.
Yep.
And then yeah, like when I realized, oh, you can actually make a career out of this, helping people and so forth, and have the certificates and stuff, and that there's establishments, or I should say businesses. I was like, yeah, I would like to, reignite those old skills and see where I can take it, and possibly have a new career path. Since the career paths I've usually always done were not exactly enjoyable ones.
Yep.
So doing security and cleaning and so forth. So yeah, basically that's why I contacted you guys, and wanted to learn more. And it was fantastic, especially when you guys invited me for a few hours to one of your courses, to just get to see everything, how it's all laid out, which I really enjoyed, and then getting to like practice some hypnosis on the people, and that just reinforced it even more. That I was like, oh my God, I'm definitely going to do this course. Like,
Yeah.
there's no stopping me. So, and you
Yep.
guys were fantastic as well. Yeah, you and Paul. So, yeah, how could I not?
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Josh. If
No
we
problem.
go back to sort of that grief that you were feeling with your dog, if it's not too sad for you to talk about, I think this is really important for people to understand, because there's a lot of people out there who are dealing with grief,
Mhm.
and they don't realize how powerful hypnotherapy is to help that, and how quickly it can start to shift. So just talk to me a little bit about how you were feeling before. Obviously, like you said, there was a really deep sadness because you probably just lost your best mate.
Mhm.
And knowing obviously a little bit about hypnotherapy might be able to help this, but I'm sure you still had some doubts about that.
Mhm.
How many sessions did you have, and how did you notice you started to feel different?
So yeah, I had 2 sessions, and that was pretty much what did the trick for me. And yeah, at first I didn't think that it would be like it would fix it. Like and it wasn't so much skepticism. It was just like it was pretty much at the time that I got done. I think I was 37. I'm 38 now, but it was like that's like 37 years of just like a lot of shit throughout my life building up to this point. And that was the thing that kind of caused the cracks to open up. And about everything. So it wasn't or like completely on my dog dying. It was a life of a lot of things. So, childhood traumas and, a lot of regrets that you have throughout your entire life, and a lot of other things that occur.
Yep.
So, I always, I rarely slept because most of my nights was, I always kept myself very occupied throughout the day. So when I would sit there in bed, or I should say lay there in bed, that was when all past thoughts and stuff would start entering my head. So then I wouldn't be able to sleep because I'd be making myself angry, sad, a whole variety of different things in my life, because
Yep.
I especially never expressed those kind of things, like emotions or anything, um, you know, openly around people and stuff. It was always a bottle up situation. So I always had that kind of little, this is 37 years of shit in my head and so forth, of life. Like, how can hypnotherapy, cure or fix that, kind of thing. But
Yep.
I was open to that because I knew, um, uh, psychology and that, wasn't going to do the trick, because I had seen psychologists in the past and even
Okay.
counselors when I was younger, and that never did anything, kind of thing. So it was like, no, I'm open to this, like, why not try it? And so I contacted someone, and we did like 2 sessions together, and it was really good. Like, I felt the difference instantly. It was like a well. So the well was full,
Yep.
and for what they did, it was like, the they had emptied the well, so I could start refilling that well again, uh, type thing. So it
Amazing.
was, yeah, it was a very refreshing kind of thing, and the thoughts weren't hit me that it was also affecting me in different ways. I wasn't getting angry and all that sort of stuff. So
Yep.
that's pretty much how it felt. That they'd emptied that well of emotions and regret and so forth. That I could start again, just and let life fill it up as time goes by. But, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for sharing that, because there are just so many people out there that are dealing with the same things you're talking about right now: childhood traumas, grief, all of these things where one thing happens in life, even if it's COVID that we've just had, and all of a sudden it just flips a switch, like you say, and this whole can of worms starts to open in someone's life, and you just start to spiral. I know, I've been
Mm.
there myself. And so I really appreciate you sharing that, because that's going to help someone listening to this just realize that they don't have to keep feeling that way. That
Mm.
hypnotherapy is a really powerful modality that can help them to start to feel better, and quite quickly too, as you've just said.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that's really awesome. Going back to when you first started, I'm just trying to remember what you were talking about. You were saying you saw a guy and you were scared to. He started to take you through a process, and you very quickly realized he was going to take you under hypnosis.
Yeah.
Yep. And your perception of hypnosis at the time was obviously stage hypnosis. Am I
So
correct in saying that?
yeah, so the guy that tried to do hypnosis to me, that was before I met the stage hypnosis. So the guy who was doing the tried to do, which was the negative one, he was a
Yep.
psychologist, that
Okay.
wanted to. Yep.
Okay. And you just picked up that, no, I think he's taking me into hypnosis, and he hasn't told me that he's going to do that, so I'm not willing to go there.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Because a big part of why I was seeing a psychologist was because I had a lot of issues. I was very misanthropic at the time. Like, I didn't like people whatsoever, especially males, and that was from childhood stuff. So I didn't have trust towards him because, one, he was a male, and two, I was very hostile back in those days as well. So I could get nasty, towards people and so forth. So it was one, like, I just wanted to be alone, no humans or anything around me. I didn't like anyone back then. So that was why I was taken to a psychologist to work on personality, like gaining a personality to be around people and stuff in like, be around society kind of thing. Because I just I'd had a childhood where, from basically day one of, just violence and that. So naturally, what was ingrained in me was seeing all people as, shit kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's when I had a guy going, oh yeah, we're going to try some meditation, and then he starts going, like, tell me, and then I start feeling some kind of like little weird feeling as he's going on about like light and so forth, and from knowing what from films and that, I was like, hang on, this guy's trying to hypnotize me here, and I've seen this in movies and that, and yeah, that's when I just like was like, and I've gone, no, you don't do that, and he's like, oh, I'd really like to try this with you, and I said, no, you're not doing it, kind of thing. So yeah.
Yep. Okay. So the reason I wanted to bring that up is you already know that there's a perception out there that as a hypnotherapist, we can make people do things they don't want to do. And I want to sort of kill this perception now, because as a stage hypnotist, if you've got someone volunteering to do the funny things, then yes, you can make them do things they wouldn't normally do. But as a clinical hypnotherapist, when someone's coming to us for help, that's not our intention, right? You know that, I know that, every clinical hypnotherapist knows that. But people out there that don't understand this don't know that. They don't realize that when they come to a clinical hypnotherapist, we're there to help you with the issues that you've got. We're not there to make you cluck like a chicken, bark like a dog. We're there to listen to you so that we can help you make the changes that you want to make. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to bring that up, because there's a perception out there that a clinical hypnotherapist can make someone do what they don't want to do. And yes, on one side of the coin we can, but on the other side of the coin, that's not what that clinical hypnotherapy session is all about.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And just you knowing back then of what you've seen of hypnosis, what you'd seen of hypnotherapy was not good in your mind.
No.
You felt like he was going to take you to a place or make you do something or tell you something that you weren't comfortable with. And so a lot of our clients coming to us for sessions are exactly like that. They've only seen certain perceptions of what hypnosis is about, like you said, based on movies, based on shows, all of those sort of things. So that's why I'm doing this podcast, really, to talk to you guys, to let people know that it's very, very different.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, that's the thing, like with hypnosis as well, as when you see it, it's like every time you see it on the TV, it's always shined in a negative light. I mean, we see it on those Law and Order shows and that. We've seen it on Stir of Echoes, which is a movie and stuff, and it's always either the person gets controlled to do something or they get humiliated in front of like everyone type thing. So
Yeah.
that's what gets made into your mind.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that's why there's so many people out there that don't realize the way they're feeling right now can be sorted, and it can be done under hypnotherapy sessions. And so it's great that you're sharing your story, because that's going to help someone listening to this to realize, oh, okay, I didn't realize there was two sides to this. There's the stage hypnosis side, which is all about entertainment, and then there's the clinical side, which is about helping me feel better, basically. Yeah, so it's awesome that you're sharing that. So if we move on from that now, Josh, if we talk about like when you first came to the course with us last year, that was more about, I knew that you had a bit of an understanding about this, and I knew that you were really, really interested to know more. And so we had an opportunity to be able to bring you in on a half day of a course so that you could experience what it was that we were going through. Because I knew at the time that it was a huge financial commitment for you. And so we wanted to make you feel more comfortable that you were making the right decision for you. And so very, very quickly, as we were going through the training in that particular session, Paul picked up very, very quickly that, hey, Josh is going to be able to start partnering up with people and he's going to be able to start going through these hypnosis inductions. You just started picking it up really, really quickly. And obviously it's because of the previous knowledge that you've had, the previous things that you've been, what would the word for it be? Previous things you've learnt, previous people you've met have just given you an insight and an opening to that whole world of hypnosis. So it was really, really cool to be able to just get you in on that and to just partner up with people you didn't know and just start to go through those things. And I know for you, that really then sparked your interest because you were like, when's the next course? I want to do the next course. Like, it was just so cool to see.
Yeah.
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 And so that was in, I think, was that October last year? I think October 2023.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, October. Yeah, October. Yeah, October. Yeah.
Yep. And then you had to sort of hold out, like you had the online stuff that we gave you access to so you could start going through that. But very, very quickly you got through that and then you contacted me and went, right, what's more? I want more. And I was like, I so wish I could give you more, but I need you to start at the basics. And then last week you actually got to attend the course in Melbourne.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was like pretty much with the theory side of it that you sent me. It was like 2 days I went through it, so I spent the entire days going through it.
Yeah, wow. And that would have just sparked your interest and made you even more excited.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, when I was like, yeah, what's more, and obviously, you could give me more. I was like buying heaps of books and that to add on to it, like, oh yeah, I want to get ahead on this and so forth, and learn more and everything for when I step in. And yeah, it was great because I was reading all these books and everything, but when I did come to the class, the course that I did, it was like it was just a whole different experience, like from when you compare it to reading to actually doing it, and it's just like, oh, like it's even better, obviously doing it from a practical point, but you just see how different it is from just what you've read in a book to actually doing it yourself practically, and even watching other people do it to others, or even to myself when they're doing it to me, getting to experience it. So it just the whole thing just heightened my excitement even more and my enthusiasm for it.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome. And so last week you finally got to do the first level 1 course in Melbourne. So talk to me about your experience with that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So normally, like when it comes to knowing that there's tests, exams, or anything, or even theory work, I've never been confident with that kind of stuff, and sometimes I've been known to run for the hills when it comes to that kind of thing as well, especially with tests. But when I came to the course, like we had pretty much kind of 2 days of the theory-ish explanation type of stuff, and like I was hanging off every word of that. I was like with a smile, jotting down all the instructions, information that you guys were giving. The very start of each class, pretty much you did like your hypnotic I can't even think of what the word is called, like
the group hypnotherapy session.
Yeah, that's it, like those.
Yep.
And even from the first one, I felt it put me in a very relaxed state and confident state, that and even like to hold to really give me that attention to like be there, like, oh yeah, I feel confident doing this, like I'm not having like I'm nearly having a near heart attack, like, oh my god, I'm doing all this sort of theory work, oh I'm gonna fail or something like that. I never felt like that throughout the whole entire course. It was just like I just felt very relaxed and very confident in what I was doing, and yeah, it was just a very, very positive experience. And then when we did start doing the like hypnotizing one another, one had all the trust towards the other people who hypnotized me. And when I was hypnotizing other people, I didn't feel in any way like I was stalling or anything like that. Like there wasn't that kind of moment where I had a brain fart or whatever you call it, and
Yep.
where I'm reading and like, oh, or that little bit of moment where you might have that self-consciousness of failure or anything like that. There was nothing like that throughout the whole entire process. And
Amazing.
even when it came to the last the final assessment of the last day and stuff, like which I would call a test day, but it wasn't so much like answers wrong or anything like that. It was going through the entire process of what we'd learned over and over and over again throughout the first 4 days, going into the fifth day. So doing all that repetition and it all being practical, it was I was very confident in doing all that. And yeah, at no point at any time did I feel like, oh my God, it's today's the day I'm going to be doing a test. Oh, maybe I should just like pretend I'm sick or something and just not show up, or
Yeah.
have this moment where it's like, oh, I might just go to the bathroom and quickly run out the building kind of moment. It was all, no, I feel confident. I'm pretty happy with this. I know my ability, and I mean, I've always hated talking on phones as well. I've never been confident on talking phones, but what part of the process was, you got to do a talking on the phone, talking to clients stuff, and asking questions, etc. And probably day one and two, I was a little bit like, oh God, I'm going to have to talk on a phone. But as it proceeded, and then when it got to the last day, I was just like, oh, I've got what I need written down and so forth. I know what to say. And that ended up being a process that became a lot easier for me to do. That I flew through that no problem when it came to doing it for the last assessment day, and then to do the induction deepener and stuff as well. It was just like, yep, no problem, I can do this. So throughout the whole entire time, it was just a non-stop confidence builder as well.
Yeah, awesome. And I mean, all of those things that you're talking about, that was part of our group hypnotherapy sessions. That's what we were targeting, was your guys' confidence, your self-esteem, your self-worth, like your self-belief in yourself. All of those sort of things were being targeted through those sessions so that you guys could just open up, open up, open up, and we could really just start smashing down those walls, which is exactly what you're talking about now, because we saw a huge shift in you in those 5 days. And something that amazing happened for you was that every time we'd either hypnotize as a group or you guys would partner up to go through something, we would say to everybody in the room, I want you to share your experience of what you just experienced with that. And every time it came to you, what did you say?
Yep, let's do it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I was always wanting to put my hand up for all of it, and even when it came to me like holding the camera, I was like, oh, I would put my hand up for it, but I know you want me to film this kind of thing. So yeah,
Yep.
but I was
And just
very eager.
also what you saw at the start. So we talk about when somebody's hypnotized, everybody is going to experience it differently. And basically, your own subconscious mind is going to take you as deep as it feels that it needs to take you. So we talk to you about some people are going to continue to hear everything the hypnotherapist says, and that's fine. Other people are going to start to hear what the hypnotherapist says, and then they're going to drift off a little bit, and then they're going to come back, and then they're going to drift off again, and that's fine too. And then there's going to be other people who start to hear and start to follow the process, and all of a sudden they find themselves in la la land, and they get a click of the fingers, and they just come back and think, where the hell did I just go?
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what we say is that there is no right or wrong way to do it. But one thing that you experienced that was quite different to a lot of people, but at the same time, a lot of people also experience it this way, is that you found it hard to imagine.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always I was kind of worried because I always thought, oh, with hypnosis, you need to be able to see like images, like created images to be pretty much hypnotized and stuff, and but wasn't the case because it was also like with hypnosis is like you can feel it and so forth as well. So it talks to you know a variation of things. You've got like obviously audio. You've got uh, like the imagination, like pictures, but you've also got like kinesthetic and feeling and so forth. So it was, but yeah, I'd always struggled with visualizing in my head, like putting like like pictures and stuff. So when it came to like certain things where someone would go, "Oh, I want you to imagine like a field or something," well, I couldn't create my own field or anything like that. I would just take um, what I remembered from a film. So, if I was like, oh, I want you to imagine a wall in a field. Okay, I'll just take the picture from like the end scene from Shawshank Redemption that I remember. So I wouldn't necessarily see the image. I just remember that image from the movie itself. But I never had like any. It was always completely black in front of my eyes when I had my eyes closed. There was no forming pictures. So one of the problems with that was I could never read fantasy books because it was like instant forget. So I'd read the name of the character in the book, and it'd be like, oh, the knight of this and that, blah blah. Few seconds after just reading that moment, I would completely forget that character, so I couldn't progress through any kind of fantasy book because I'd be like, okay, who the hell's this character? Like, I don't remember them and stuff. I couldn't put any like create any kind of face or even the body of the character to the name and stuff. So it was an instant like, oh, just forgot straight away type of moment. So it was great that we focused on that, where I got hypnotized to help my imagination actually come forth. And and yeah, it was great the way you did it because my hobbies are like MMA, etc. And you intertwined the imagination script within like an MMA fight and stuff. And apart from when it was done, like I felt fantastic. But throughout it, I started to actually form the images of things, and it wasn't that they were like, bang, here's a clear as day photo, like image or photo or anything. It was like I could start seeing a bit of a like red wall that usually a lot of MMA gyms have in that. And when you're saying fight, I could see like an outline of the crisscross kind of cage and stuff. And then after that, like after the whole process, and I went home, and as the days went by, I could like my imagination really really exploded in a sense. I could see like I could create images and stuff, and my imagination for like, oh, if I do this and that, like this could really make a great like script or something like that along those lines. And yeah, I was just picturing everything like yeah, in my memory, and when I'd close my eyes, so it really reinforced everything that I was like, oh my god, so this is what it's like to have a proper imagination and see things, create things in front of my eyes.
Yep. Yeah, that's so cool. And yeah, Paul and I picked up as you were sort of talking after we'd hypnotized you that it was a real issue for you, that you felt like you could not see as the others were seeing with your imagination. So we picked up that it was a real issue. It was really bugging you. And that's when I came to you and said, hey, look, Josh, I need someone for a demonstration up the front. Do you want some help to really activate this imagination? Do you want me to talk to your subconscious mind to see if it's willing to take down those protection walls? Because that's what I felt it was. I just felt for whatever reason, and we didn't need to know the reason, I told you that, for whatever reason, some protection had gone up to not activate your imagination. And so when I talked to you about that and I said, look, I pretty much didn't know whether it was going to work, how long it was going to take to work, or any of those sort of details. But what I did know is once I got talking to the subconscious, I would be able to find out through the signals that the subconscious was giving back to me whether it was prepared to open up this imagination or not. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
it was really cool to be able to utilize you for a demonstration for everybody to see that whole process, including the energy healing. And we're going to talk about that in a moment as to what you experienced with all of that. But it was so awesome because that's not something I've actually ever dealt with anybody with before. So that's just me being blatantly honest. I haven't had to open up and activate anyone's imagination before because as a hypnotherapist, when we've got a client and we're taking them through into hypnosis, we're taking them through a journey, or we're giving positive suggestions, or we're talking to the subconscious, however we're doing it, we're actually not phased around what the conscious mind is thinking. So if the person is not able to imagine, but we're still able to talk to the subconscious mind and get that communication coming back, we know that the process is working. We've got the person under hypnosis and the process is working, so therefore the client's going to get a result. But for you, it was a little bit different because you were becoming a hypnotherapist yourself. And we felt like, and you can confirm whether this is right or wrong, but we felt like it was going to cause a hindrance and a blockage to you, knowing that you were going to be a fantastic hypnotherapist.
Yeah, I definitely agree because one of the like self-discoveries of that was also my imagination was also attached to my confidence as well. So, without imagination, I didn't feel confident in towards a lot of things throughout life.
Yep.
Because it was like, oh, if I don't, and also memory. That was another thing I felt that it was attached to, because obviously, like what I was saying with the book, when I'd read a fantasy book, I couldn't remember the character a few seconds later because of the fact that I didn't have the imagination to like create the character in my own mind.
Yep.
So it attacked my confidence in the way that, oh man, I'm dumb, like I must be dumb as or something like that. And and that also goes with like even vocabulary wise, like I would like I couldn't like use my imagination to use the words that I needed to describe something. So then I would revert back to very basic language or descriptions of things. And that would also, again, go straight to my confidence where I wouldn't feel confident or I'd feel dumb again. So it also helped a great deal in that sense. And I also, and, after these past like few days since the course as well, I feel like what that hypnosis imagination script you delivered to me as well, that you hypnotized me with, I felt that it has also added on further positives to my life, because just reading reading books and not fantasy but just books in general, I'm finding like my concentration and everything and focus has been like really reinforced.
Yep.
So, when I used to read books, I would like force myself to get to get to 10 pages. Now I'm reading like half a book, so that's like 50, 60, 70 pages all in one day. If I wanted to, I could read the full book and stuff. But yeah, I'm getting through that amount of pages compared to what I would have before I did the course.
Yeah. So that's just since last week, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's phenomenal results.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really exciting. And I got really excited that you wanted to go through that session because I knew that was going to be a challenge for me. I knew that I hadn't dealt with that before. But one thing I did know is how to speak to the subconscious mind. And so once I got your subconscious mind chatting away with me and letting me know the direction that we were going and what it was prepared to do, I knew that you were going to get a phenomenal result from that. And But also through that, because we were at a level 1 course, we don't talk about too much about the energy healing with the mesmerism and the magnetism, but I always demonstrate it on that course so that students can see what's actually possible if they continue to go on. And so you got to experience all of that as well. So I took you through a normal clinical hypnotherapy session. I spoke to your subconscious. I gave you some suggestions. And one of the most exciting things was around rewiring your brain about you thinking that you were dumb. Yeah, we rewired that really quickly together with your subconscious, and that changed really, really quickly. And then after that session, I clicked my fingers, I brought you out of hypnosis, and then I did the mesmerism with you. Now, for those that don't know what mesmerism is, it's a way of being able to put someone into a trance state without using any words. So you don't use any words to get someone into that hypnotic trance state. It's a very, very powerful thing to learn. And we teach it in our diploma courses at the academy. So I did mesmerism with Josh. And how did you feel when I was doing that? Because I sat you down to do that, didn't I? I didn't stand you up.
Yeah, sat down, yeah.
Yeah, and that was your very first experience of it. And what did you experience with me doing that?
Yeah, like it was really interesting because I never knew that like you could hypnotize someone with not like by just I mean there was more than you just staring into my eyes and me staring back at your eyes um but yeah, I never thought that you could be hypnotized with just doing that kind of process. I thought, no, there needs to be words. So there was even that little bit of skepticism there, because I'm like, oh, how do you hypnotize someone just by staring at them, kind of thing, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, because you see the whole Crocodile Dundee thing with the bull, like, type thing, and it's like, is it going to be like that? Like, but I don't see it like, it kind of seems comical. And then yeah, when you did it, like it was pretty fast, like we were staring, and I think I could see like peripherally, like your hands here, like in a like kind of near me, motioning the eyes closing or something. And correct me if I'm wrong there, but it was just yeah, like no words were needed or anything like that, but yeah, my eyes just started to go with it, like they got heavy, and my eyes closed, and I was sitting there and I could hear you doing things without I mean I think you're touching me at times, but not in shock, in like shock inductions or anything like that. You weren't saying anything whatsoever. But it was kind of similar to when it was your usual hypnotic deepeners and stuff, where I was feeling, the whole process and stuff. So it was like vibration-y kind of feeling, and like kind of like a little heart pumping. But it felt like it was going through the body and all that sort of stuff. Like it was very euphoric in a sense. So that was everything I was feeling when you were doing what you were doing. And yeah, like even I could feel like my head going back, and like there was a force pushing on my head or pulling my head back, and I couldn't like pull my head forward because it just felt like someone was like pulling back, but it was like you weren't touching me whatsoever doing that. And then at a point, my head started going forward towards my lap, and so I had no idea how that was occurring. And then afterwards, when we went through, like I watched the recording of it, it was like you were moving your hands down and up for in the position that my body seemed to be following where your hands were, what your hands were doing, kind of thing. So if I was lifting up, it was because your hands were going like that without even touching me, and my eyes were never open for it. And then if I was going down, it was because you were doing things with your hands in a downward kind of way, and it was just really fascinating. And then yeah, when I came was snapped out of the process, yeah, I just felt great, like fantastic.
Yeah, awesome. And you're right, most of the time I was not touching you. There was just an energetic connection where I was doing an energy healing and a clearing. And we call that magnetism. And it goes back to the days in the 1900s. Like you can research this stuff. This is the old way that hypnotism was done. And so we still teach it in the academy. It's an ancient technique that is just so, so powerful, which is what you got to experience. And we teach the exact way of being able to do it at diploma level, which you're going to go on and learn. And you'll be blown away once you learn it, because there's, again, a step-by-step process that you just learn to be able to do it. And then the healing that comes from the people that you actually do it with is just phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was the thing, like that, like getting, like I was really glad you, like I got to experience that mesmerism for myself, because obviously, like I was saying before, I had that little bit of skepticism towards it, like, oh, like how can, if you're not using words, etc., can you hypnotize someone, and so forth. And then when I got to experience, like, oh, and then that was like another bit of bait that's like got me pulled in there. Oh my god, I want to learn this. Like, yes, sign me up. Let's
Yeah.
do the diploma now.
Yeah. And that's usually what happens, because people just don't realize that you're able. Well, I think for years, a lot of people have heard that a hypnotist might say, "Look into my eyes." Yeah, you've
Mm.
probably heard it. But
Yeah,
they don't
follow the
believe that you can
watch.
actually do that. Yeah, or the watch sort of thing. But they don't believe that look into my eyes, you can actually take someone down into a very deep trance, and you can energetically clear them of so many blockages, traumas. This is where you can really start to alleviate pain in people. It's phenomenal what you're actually able to do. And so it was really cool that you got to experience that and actually got to have a real live session with that. And I thank you for being the demonstration client for that. It was awesome.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, I had a lot of trust towards you anyway, so I was like very happy to do it. So yeah, that's why I was like happy to keep throwing my hand up and like, yes, do me, do me.
Yeah, perfect. And then, so you've had some phenomenal results from not only that session, but the whole week of having the group hypnosis sessions every morning. And then every day, the techniques that we were teaching you guys, you were just partnering up straight away to practice. And that was just layering upon layering upon layering, a new technique every time. And then you'd practice that, and then you'd add that to all of the layers underneath until you got to day 4, where you were actually doing full clinical sessions. So talk to me now about, without saying any names, because we'll keep confidentiality of the people that attend our courses, but talk to me about some of the people that you hypnotized, because we told you guys that these were going to become real clinical sessions. These weren't going to be just you guys practicing. You could actually put your real issues on the table and get them sorted in that week. So talk to me about some of the issues that you helped with, Josh.
Yeah, so I helped with like with a few people. There was like self-worth. So people who didn't feel like they were very like they had really no confidence in their own worth as a person, and in general to like life type thing. So I was really interested in there. There was like people with stress issues. People had like, I mean, confidence seemed to be a big main factor. I think that's just everyone in general in most cases. But it was the branching out of what confidence could attack in different kind of issues. And yeah, then there was trauma as well. And yeah, it was really good. Like, there was people that I really connected with from experience and stuff. And I found with those people that I connected really well with, hypnosis came. Well, the whole process, to be honest, came a lot more easier, because like I was using the similar dialogue to what they would like they use themselves. So there was that really easy built rapport kind of thing. I had that understanding as well of what they were suffering or feeling or have went through. So I could mold the scripts and like the deepeners and that to what like how they're like to their life kind of thing, in a sense, or how their mind works, and what works best for them. And it just like they would go a hell of a lot easier, like almost instantaneously into like into a hypnotic trance and stuff. So that was fascinating. It was good to see also the different reactions of everyone. So one person hypnotize, and the head would lower down, and you'd also assist in a sense of the arms getting heavier, etc. And they'd go that. And at times I'd also go off script a bit, because I felt confident enough to not just follow scripts, and just add my own kind of dialogue to it, which improved like that, even like boosted it even more, as well as my own confidence. But it was interesting to see the different kind of bodily reactions people had. So, one person, such as myself, would like, I didn't realize that I would twitch a lot, and, the head would twitch and things. Another person, their whole arm would kind of like flail and rotate, which was really interesting. And then, another person, like, they'll just kind of be, eyes closed, head down, kind of not really moving, but they'll be deep into trance. And it was also really cool to see which one, like the inductions worked best for each person, kind of thing. So not everyone was was different in that sense, and it also just gave me a lot of confidence in what inductions I actually like using on people. Some just like the close the eyes, go to sleep, etc. But I really liked doing where you got to like that whole the hands up here and stuff, and work with that. So then it just like they can feel it and see that happening, that they're like, oh my god, this is like he like I'm like, this is not me purposely doing it, like what he's saying to me is causing my subconscious to make my hands twitch and turn and etc. So yeah, it was fascinating.
Yeah, amazing. And you guys got to see so much variety on that course last week. It was absolutely amazing. And then how did it feel knowing that you'd hypnotize someone for the first time through a full clinical session, like you could do it?
Yeah, it was amazing. Like, it was fantastic. Because and such a confidence booster, and that. But it was like the way I put, like, compare you guys with the core, like the whole course, is that when I do other courses, if I do other courses, I go in there, I'm not very confident. Like, I'm kind of begging for the practical side of things, like just to get down. Well, I know there's like theory, etc. I'm a nervous wreck basically the entire time. I'm not looking forward to the last day or the last few hours where I know there's something I'm going to be watched on, etc.
Okay.
And then when the day is complete, if I've passed and that, it's like, I've got the whatever it is I've come walking out with that I needed, and it's just a kind of like, oh, the day's gone, thank God, that's over and done with. I've got what I need now. I'm gonna try and find a job or whatever that I need to use it. When I did it with you guys, it was like from day one, it was like of starting that, I was like, I love this. I'm enjoying every single moment of this. Each day I was looking forward to it. Each day it just got better, better and better. When it came to the day that I was going to be like watched and assessed, etc., I was perfectly confident and fine and happy, and through the whole process. After the course had finished, I was the whole time like in praise for myself, like, oh my god, that was so amazing. I can't believe I did this and I've achieved this and so forth. And I was bragging to everyone about it, and I just had that euphoric feeling through my system. And as the days progressed, like even up to today, I'm still like happy I've done it, and I still see like how much I've improved, and I still continue wanting to improve, etc. through it. So
Yeah, amazing. And we're only just coming up a week since you finished.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you just did a fantastic job. Like, you were fantastic at hypnotizing people. Your confidence is just next level with being able to do it. And like you said, you like the inductions of being able to show someone that their subconscious mind is doing something with their hand, whatever it is, that they're not doing. And clients love that because that shows someone, wow, there is something to this. I'm not just closing my eyes and going into a relaxation state. I'm actually doing something that I am not doing.
Mm,
Yeah, it freaks
exactly.
people out, but at the same time, they love it
Mm,
because then they get a sense of belief of maybe this is going to work for me.
mm. And I mean that's the other thing with being hypnotized as well. It was like, you kind of like, again, it's from when you see like the movies and the shows and all that. It's like, oh, people just think, oh yeah, they're just like, it's like actual sleep, that they're just they've gone like blacked out, like can't remember a damn thing, etc. Or they see that, or it's like, what's that movie called, Get Out, where it's like, oh, the person's like stuck in place and they're sinking into like a pretty scary dark hole, looking up at like at the person hypnotizing that, and it's like, no, it's not like that. It's comforting. It's it's very what's the word, like, it's very like soothing in a sense,
Yep,
like it's very tranquil.
relaxing,
Yeah.
peaceful. Yep, that's it. And sometimes it's the only time that our brains actually get to be quiet or be still.
Yeah.
And people feel amazing just through even being able to just have a still mind and not have to be panicked and worried.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're really looking forward to you going on to the diploma course in August. We're running a diploma course in August in Melbourne. We're also running a certificate level 1 course that Josh just went through last week in Melbourne in August as well. And so Josh is going to go on and learn the next level now. He's going to learn all of that energetic side, as well as how to speak really confidently with the subconscious mind and a whole lot of other things. So, yeah, you're just going to be blown away with what you're about to learn next, Josh.
Yeah,
And I just
definitely.
know with like your hobbies of MMA, with the fighting and all of those sort of things, and the people that you want to go out and help with all of this, like, you're going to hit a real niche with all of that. Paul and I have told you that.
Yeah.
The way you're going to be able to help fighters be able to get into that ring without their amygdalas. We learned all about the amygdala from Paul,
Mm.
didn't we? Without
Yeah,
them
yeah.
having a meltdown in their brains because they're about to have the shit beaten out of them. You're going to be able to help with all of that in that particular arena and niche, as well as any other person that gravitates towards you. So it's an exciting, exciting journey that you're on, and we just feel absolutely privileged that you've chosen us to go on that journey with. We're here to support you, help you in whatever way you need. You know that already. And
Appreciate
I
it.
know you guys from last week, you've connected up in a little group of your own so that you can continue to practice, and that you can continue to help one another. So you can continue to identify what issues it is with you guys, each individually, that you want to work through so that you don't have to go and pay for a hypnotherapist to hypnotize you. You guys can do it on one another and just build your confidence and see phenomenal results. Really,
Definitely.
really cool. Awesome. So we'll probably sort of start to bring it to a close, Josh.
Yep, no
Was there
problem.
anything else that you wanted to share?
Um, yeah, no, just, yeah, the whole like process has just been a very positive one, like positive process. Like, you and Paul were fantastic. It was very eye opening as well. Like, whatever little skepticisms I might have had, it went out the window. It was very beneficial to me, not just from learning hypnosis, but from, like, in a personal way, which and growth kind of sense.
Yep.
Because again, like, it helped confidence, it helped with imagination and stuff, and it continues to help even after that course, was finished. Helped with the focus. Yeah, it was a great process. It was very warm and comforting environment as well. So, yeah, I highly recommend anyone who wants to learn hypnosis to, learn from you guys, because you guys were great teachers. And yeah, it was just, again, it was just a very big eye-opening experience, because, people might, and, and it also kind of took me out of my comfort zone, in the sense that, like, I always thought, when it came to the inductions, for example, like that, I'll just do I'll close the eyes, relax the body type thing. Like, that's, the safe route kind of thing. But
Yep.
then it was a self-discovery that, no, I fucking love, well, sorry for the swearing.
That's all right.
I really love the whole, like, getting to have like something physical, with, like the swan, or the hand to, the magnetic hand to the face kind of stuff. Like, that's actually my favorite kind of inductions to use, like. So it really gave, like, I learned something for myself, even in that no, I really want to do more with those than, and it was a real eye opener in not trying to stick to like a comfort of, oh yeah, I'll just do the whole body relax and stay in that kind of lane of the thing.
Yeah, very, very cool. And I just thank you so much, Josh, for coming on and just sharing your very, very personal story. Like, I know that's something that not a lot of people would have the confidence to do. So I really thank you for doing that. I know that your story is going to help so many people just realize that there is help out there for them, that clinical hypnotherapy can help them. And that's what this podcast is for. That's why we've set it up. We want to let people know that we've got real people not only learning how to do this, but real people who are getting help from hypnotherapy. It's working for people.
Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. So we're going to continue to follow you on your journey, because you've just started your journey. You're going to continue going through this journey. And I'm going to get you back on another podcast again as you go through your journey, and sort of see where it is that you're going to start to go to, and just continue to hear who you're helping, and all of the wonderful things that are happening in your life, because I can't believe that you're now reading books. Like, yeah. What the hell, Josh?
I know.
That is so, so cool. Something that you really wanted to do, that no matter how hard you tried, for whatever reason, it just wasn't happening for you. And now it's like you don't even have to think about it. It just happens.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's
yeah,
great.
So, so cool. So
yeah, even like my mum as well, because I was telling my mum, like, oh, I just got through like 70 pages there, and she was just like, oh my God, kind of thing, when I was telling her all about it and stuff. So yeah, she was because she knew how bad I was with books as well, type things. Yeah.
And so now it's just a non-issue.
No, exactly.
Yeah, so there's so many other things in your life that, as you start working on them with the other students, the graduates that you went through, those things will become a non-issue as well. Like, it's so exciting.
Yeah,
I love to hear these stories, because I've gone through this journey myself, and now to see someone at the start of this journey and just being opened up to so much change and so much possibility, it's just incredible.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Josh.
No problem.
So if you're out there and you're struggling with some of the issues that Josh has talked about on this podcast, then we've got clinical hypnotherapists, we've got graduates that can help you through some of this stuff. And very soon, Josh is going to be one of those as well. So you can either watch some other podcasts where you'll find clinical hypnotherapists talking who are out there practicing, or you can get in touch with our academy and they'll be able to point you in the right direction. We've got them all over Australia and New Zealand who are just helping people and getting phenomenal results. And if you're one of those people that have been listening and you're thinking, man, I want to learn that skill, I want to be able to do what Josh can now do and shock the hell out of people, then again, get in touch. Find out when our next course is in your area. We deliver courses in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and Perth. And so you can find out on our website when the next course is in your area. Get in touch with me. I'll have a chat with you and we'll see what it is that you want to do. So I just thank you for watching today. Once again, Josh, I thank you for coming today, sharing your very personal story, and I'll catch up with you again soon.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. See ya.